Hi everyone, can you hear me? We are about to start in like 2 minutes. I'm doing some testing. Yeah, I think the audio is good. Hi everyone. Yeah. Well, I have two computers here with me, so different connections, so I was just checking that in the second computer I was getting the audio right. So I guess everyone can hear me. So we are about to start in like 1 or 2 minutes. So it's 1 minute now, okay, from start. Okay, I think I'll start in 30 seconds. I guess some people might come in right now. So let's have some extra 30 seconds and we will start. Okay, so, well, I guess it's time to start. Okay, so, well, first thing, I want to say that I'm super excited about this webinar. Last week we had another webinar regarding the same product, Coducer Flows. Okay, but today I'm going to be a bit more, not technical, but I'm going to go deeper, and I will again explain some concepts that we learned last week. Okay, but I'm super excited because, well, this is a new product that we launched. I mean, it's not a new product, but a new feature of Coducer. I will explain what Coducer is, okay? But I'm super excited about this, about it, okay? Because I think this is going to be super useful for a lot of companies, okay? So you'll see, if you watch the whole webinar, you'll realize that you might be willing to use this in your website, okay? So, well, first thing, since, well, today, I normally do webinars for people using MobileCube or Coducer, okay, but today's webinar, we are accepting, anyone, any company having a website, okay, so a lot of people won't know me, okay, myself, okay, so let me introduce myself. My name is Iñaki Roda. I'm the co-founder of two no-code companies, or no code, low code. Now it's, everyone is talking about low code right now. Okay, so years ago, I co-founded MobileCube, which is a do-it-yourself app builder. And last year, then a different team, we co-founded Coducer. And, well, not only Coducer, but Dojo, which is a suite of tools for creating and monetizing and distributing content and software. Okay, so, and one of the, or probably the main product is Coducer, which is for creating software without the need of having software development skills. Okay, so, well, Coducer is a super advanced platform for creating software without having a lot of technical skills. Okay, but the thing is that it's much more advanced than traditional do-it-yourself app builders. Okay, so it's not a drag and drop thing, it's more advanced, but you'll see that once you learn, it's super easy. Okay, so today we are going to talk about a brand new feature of Coducer, okay, that has nothing to do with mobile apps. Okay, so today we are accepting people in this webinar that just want to know more about the web industry, okay, because today we are going to talk about that. So if you have a website, then this webinar is for you. Okay, so, well, I don't know if this thing happened to you, but, well, it happened to me a lot of times. Okay, in all my past experience in MobileCube or Coducer. Okay, so as a product manager or CEO as well, A lot of times I wanted to put some promotions or some surveys in our website, okay, but I didn't because I had to ask our programmers, okay. But the thing is that they were busy, so we couldn't have this promotion in our website, okay. So, well, I was always thinking, what if I didn't have to ask our programmers and I could control what I want to put in our website, okay, for some promotion or things like that, okay. So that's the thing we had in mind when we started developing this new feature of Codozer, okay, because, well, first we wanted to use this for ourselves, okay, for starting having some more dynamic content in our website, but then we realized that it could be useful for any company with a website, okay. So, well, today particularly I'm going to talk about how to create step-by-step tutorials or assistance in your website, okay. I guess you've had accounts in so many websites that when you log in, then you see some guide through, some small dialogues that move around the website, and those dialogues, they explain how to use the website, okay. So I guess you probably have thought about how to put that in your website, right? So there are some tools, and they are not really cheap. If you start getting visitors in your website, that might be expensive, okay. So we always wanted to do that for ourselves, okay, but without using third-party technologies. But then we realized it was not that easy to build, okay. So, well, today we are going to talk about that, how to improve the conversion of your website by adding these assistants in your website and without the need of talking with your programmers, okay. So basically this is going to be about that. So, well, let's start. I think that the best way to show it is by I start working on that, okay. So, for example, well, this, if you have entered today MobineCube or Codozer, you will have seen this announcement about the webinar with some buttons and things like that, okay. So this is one of the things we are going to learn today, okay. So this is basically one assistant, okay, that we have pushed in our website without talking with our developers, okay. So, well, I'm going to go to Codozer and I'm going to create a new project, okay. So if you're new to Codozer, today I'm not going to give you a lot of details about Codozer. I'm just going to explain a quick overview about our dashboard so that you don't get lost, okay. So, and then we will start having some work done, okay. So, well, first thing you need to know is that here on the left side we have the Dojo bar, okay, because, well, Dojo is the brand and the umbrella brand that is over Codozer, okay. So we have some other products like Custod.io or Dojo Files, then we have Dojo Stories, and we have Codozer, okay. So they are all in the same account from Dojo, okay. So this is your Dojo bar. So on the bottom you have some icons to manage your account, and on the top bar you have some icons that are only for the product you're working on. So if we are now in Codozer, so we have some buttons for Codozer, okay. So I'm not going to explain all of them right now. Then you have the working area. This is where you are going to edit your projects. So now we are going to create what we call a flow. A flow is a group of different steps, and each step is going to have content, okay. You'll see later. So now I'm just going to start a new project. I'm going to call it like webinar flows, like April, for example, and I'm going to select here flow and start from scratch, okay. So now you see a new bar here at this gray bar. So this is where you are going to have all the files from your project, and since this is a flow project, you are going to have a flow folder. This is where you are going to edit your flows. So each flow is going to be one file. Then you have the rest folder. Here, in case you are going to need images or fonts, things, or videos, you can place them here in this folder. And then you have the app file, which has the main configuration for your project, okay? So, well, So from here, we are going to start editing our assistants, and then we will hit on publish. Okay, and we will see these changes in our website. Okay, but for doing that, we are going to ask our developers only once to add some code in our website. Okay, so well, today I'm going to do some example here. I have this website. This is only a template. Well, I downloaded this template from HTML5 app. Okay, well, it's a website. They provide templates for HTML websites. Okay, so I have this website, and here you can see this is the source code of my website. Okay, so you don't have to worry. We are not going to talk about HTML today, but I just wanted to show you how you can put it in a regular website. Okay, so basically what you need to do is look on Google for npm. Okay, and this is the website, npmjs.com. So this is where we put our library, okay, because, well, Codozer Flows has a library, and you have to tell your programmers to put that library in your website, okay, and once they put it, then you will forget about your website, and then you will do all the work on Codozer. Okay, so here you have to look for Codozer, and then click on Codozer Flow. Okay, so you're going to get some information here about, well, there are two ways of installing, because, well, some websites are just regular HTML content, and there, more and more websites nowadays are using React technology. Okay, for those using React and NPM, they can use this. But for regular websites, you just need to copy this. I mean, if you are familiar a little bit with HTML, then you will know what I'm doing. Okay, but if not, you just need to follow these steps, or just give this website to your programmers and they will understand. Okay, but basically you just need to copy these 2 lines in your website, in every page of your website, here on the head. Okay, if you get your HTML, there's like a first part which is called head. You just need to paste this here. Well, you should do it in every page where you want to have assistants. Okay, so I have these 2, generic and index.html. Okay. And then you go back here and you will see 2 extra lines. Okay, so this is the code. I mean, the first 2 lines are for importing the library, and these 2 lines are for launching your flows. Okay, so you just need to go here before the body closure and put this script, open and close script, and then paste these 2 lines. Okay, and now you see here this word that says hash. So this is where you need to put the ID for your project. Okay, so go back to Codozer. This is our new project. So click here on the publish button, and then you will see that you get this new line that says hash. So copy this code and go back to your HTML, paste it here without break line, and I'm going to also copy it in the index.html. Okay, now I'm going to upload these 2 files to my server. Okay, well, normally you don't need to do this. I mean, you can just pass the work to your programmers and they will know how to do this. I mean, you see that this is super easy. Okay, and this is all the work I had to do in my website. So from this moment, I'm going to have total freedom to manage the content in my website. Okay, so I'm going to edit the content from Codozer. okay, I will publish it from Codozer and I will see it in my website. Okay, so if I hit refresh here, I'm not going to see anything because my project is empty. Okay, but now my website is ready to start, going to the next level. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Codozer, and here I'm going to start developing flows. Okay, so well, first I have this by default from in a new project. I have this empty flow, which is called main flow. I can create more flows. Okay, I will do that later. Okay, but now sorry, what happened here? I have a new computer, so the pad is not always working good. Okay, so I have this main flow. So I told you that a flow is a set of what we call steps. Okay, so you can have different steps on every flow. Okay, so you can, like flowing through all these steps. Okay, so consider that every branch of your assistant can be a flow. Okay, so here in this flow, you can open these steps things, and here you can add steps. So I'm going to start my first step. Okay, so click here on the plus button and give an ID for your step, like welcome. Okay, you cannot use spaces or capital uppercase letters, I think. Okay, and here we can use like something like welcome to my website. Okay, here you see like a visor. Okay, you have a preview of your step. Okay, so this is the most basic thing you can do. Okay, so well, this is, now we only have this step. So for our project, we have to define which is the first step that should be shown when somebody loads our website. Okay, so go back to the app file, which has the main configuration of our project. And here we are going to define what to do when our website is loaded. So click here on the plus button and add some event. And we are going to add the onReady event. Okay, so basically this means that when our website is ready and our library, the Codozer library is ready, we are going to do things. Okay, and those things are what we call functions. Okay, so here you can define a sequence of functions to, this is the behavior of the library. So basically, you normally want to open one step, right? So we are going to add a function, select the type of function we want to use. So we are going to use this go to, some step, go to, and then select the step we created. Okay, so go to welcome. So when the library is ready, go to the welcome step. Okay, so now we are going to publish it. Okay, it took 2 seconds and now it's ready in our website. So refresh our website and now you see my first step. Okay, I cannot close it because I didn't set up the instructions to close it. Okay, but it's here. So if we want to make it closable, go back to our flow, open our step, and we can add, you see this plus button, this is inside our step. So we can add some properties. One of them is the closable. So if we make it closable and we publish again, if you refresh, you see now this close button. Okay, and now you can close it. So there are more features we can use. Okay, let's refresh again. Now you see that I can still click in my website. Okay, so what if we want our dialog to block all the content in our website? You can have this property that says blocking true. Publish again, go to our website. Okay, now I cannot click or I cannot scroll my website, you see? So this is useful in case you want to have some welcome dialog and you want to force all your users to read what you want to tell them. Okay, so well, we have let me close this, some other features like, well, we can have a title like my website, for example. Publish and refresh. Okay, you see? We could also have images here. So in case you want to not just have text, we could add content. And here we can add images, we can add PDFs, we can add videos, we can embed a website inside our dialog, or we can add a YouTube video, for example. Okay, so for example, if I refresh Codozer, you will see this is a flow made, I mean, this was built with Codozer. Okay, I mean, we are using our own software to create our own software, right? So you see that this is a step with a video, with a close button, with some options. Okay, you can do this type of designs. Okay, but today I'm not going to talk about design. We are going to talk about how to create a step-by-step thing. Okay, so yeah, let's forget about the design and add some buttons. I want to add some buttons so that I can go to the next step every time. Okay, so for buttons, you can, I mean, every flow can have some global buttons. Okay, so if I add here some buttons, I can add the positive button and the negative button. Okay, so for example, the positive can have a label for next. Okay, so well, every place you add some text that is going to be displayed in your website, you will see this plus button in case you want to add multi-language. Okay, so from here you can add your language, for example, Italian, and say, I don't know how to say next, continuare maybe, I don't know. So you can just add your ISO code for some language. Okay, so in case, okay, I know the German one, I think it's next. Okay, so well, I mean, in case the user has a browser in German or Italian, it will display the language in that, I mean, the label in that language. But if not, it will show the default language that it should normally be English. Okay, and unless you only have visitors from one country, you can just use the default language. Okay, so oh, I removed it, sorry. Okay, so I have this label, and next, I mean, for every button you are going to define one event. Okay, so buttons have the on-click event. So we added the label, now we are going to add the behavior. So when they click on this button, we want to do something, and this something is going to be go to the next step. Okay, the function next. Okay, so this is my positive button. So in this step, if I do this, I just select button positive, then this will add my positive button. Okay, I can also add custom buttons for every single step. Okay, but I will do that later. Okay, so well, now I have this here. I'm going to add a second step. Well, I can just clone this one and add like step 2, for example, and say this is the step number 2, for example. Okay, so let's publish again and refresh my website. So now I see my first step with the next button, and this goes to the step number 2. Okay, well, you see these colors for the buttons. Okay, well, these colors are taken from, if you go to the app file, you will see here a set of colors. Okay, so you can change, I mean, there are some of them that have this red button. This is for removing that color, but some of them cannot be removed. These are the main colors of your website. These are going to define the style of your flows. Okay, so we have the primary, for example. So let's think of red colors, for example. I could have this as primary, then I can change here, like primary dark can be darker, and the primary light can be like red but light red, something like that. Okay, So if I republish, you will see that my buttons change color. Okay. So let's keep rolling. Okay, so what else? So, well, basically, step by step, it's going to be this sequence of steps, right? So I can add step 3 and then step number 3. So if I republish, then I will have step 1, step 2, step 3, right? But what happens here is that, well, normally, I mean, if you think of those step-by-step tutorials that you see in some websites, I mean, steps are moving from one element, I mean, from one part of your website to another one, because normally these steps want to show you how to use your website. Okay, so now I'm going to explain how to move those steps so they target some specific part of your website. Okay, so for example, imagine that in step 2 I want to explain these buttons here. I want to explain, like, follow us on Facebook. Okay, so I want my step 2 to be targeting this Facebook icon, for example. So how to do this? So I go to my step 2, and here as a property I can add a target. So if I add a target, I'm going to let this step know which element of my website it should target. Okay, so, well, we have this selector parameter, and here we have to define the name of the element we want to target. Okay, well, I mean, this is going to be the most complicated part here. Okay, so I'm going to explain. I wanted to do this webinar specifically to explain this, how to define the target. Okay, so, well, I'm not sure if you are not web developers, this is going to be new for you maybe. Okay, but, well, it's not super complicated, and I guess you will be able to learn this. Okay, but I don't know if you know, but if on any website, if you are using Chrome or other web browsers, if you hit on the right button of your mouse on some element, sorry, this is in English, but you open this, this is in Spanish, sorry. You open this inspector, or you can press F12 as well. You will see this. Okay, so basically this is the code, the HTML code of this website. So if you move your mouse over these parts, you see that some parts in my website are highlighted. Okay, this means that this is the elements, these are the elements I'm targeting. So if I want to know which element my Facebook button is, I can just start moving my mouse, and if I see, for example, this box header, or this header is highlighting some parts but also my icon, right? So this means that my icon is inside this header. So I can open this header and keep looking to be more specific. So now I have this element. These are called elements, by the way. So I have this UL element, and it seems this includes my Facebook icon, right? So I can open it, and then I have some LE. This is a list. So you see that now each element highlights a different icon. Okay, so I guess this is where my icon is, where my Facebook icon. Okay, so how can I select this? Okay, so, well, normally web elements, sometimes they have an ID. For example, this header element has this parameter or this attribute called ID that says header, right? So let's imagine that I add here my ID, the header ID. So since this is ID, I have to use the number symbol and then use header. Okay, so now I'm letting this step know that it has to target this whole header element. Okay, so I'm going to publish and refresh. Click on next. you see now my whole header element is targeted. Okay, so well, let's be more specific. Okay, I don't want to highlight the whole header, I want to highlight what we call a child of this element. Okay, so this header has a UL element. Okay, so since this UL element is a child of the header element because it's inside, you see, I can do this header. Well, I'm going to do this because the UL doesn't have any ID. Okay, so I could do, since I know the ID of the parent, I could do something like this: header, then more than UL. If you don't use the number symbol, then this means that you are targeting some HTML tag. Okay, this word here, ULA, header section. Okay, so this means that I want to target the first UL element that belongs to the element that has this ID, header. Okay, now if I click here, now I'm targeting the whole UL element. Okay, so what if I want to target another child element of this UL? So I could keep doing this UL, and now the first kid that is a LI element. Let's refresh, and now I'm targeting the first LI child, okay, which is this one. Okay, so what if I want to target the second one? So well, you can do this. So 2 points, then NTH, what is this symbol called? Hyphen? No, well, line, then write child, parenthesis, and then 2 because it's the second one. Okay, then publish, refresh, and here we have it. Okay, so now we are moving from the first icon to the from the first step to the second step, but targeting some icon. So here I could write something like from this button you can access our Facebook site, for example. Okay, well, it's quite simple, right? I mean, this is the most complicated part I'm going to talk about today. Okay, I mean normally you only need one ID or one class name or something like that. Okay, but I explained the most difficult part, so if you get this part, then you are done. Okay, so well, let's keep doing some steps now. So the next step, now I want to explain how to move from one flow to another flow. Okay, so let's imagine that the next oh my, I think I'm having issues with my scroll. I don't know what happens in my website. I think it had some scrolling, but my pad is not working. Well, anyway, let me refresh. I don't know what's happening. I think my let me find a mouse because I think something's wrong with my scroll. Okay, let me check. Yeah, maybe I had some invisible step or something. I mean, it was blocked. Okay, so well, now I'm going to target these parts here in the third step. Okay, so let's click here, and this part, this whole part, is this section. Okay, or well, now let's see another way of targeting. So I have this element which includes like these 4 icons. Okay, and you see this element that has some class attribute. Okay, and this class is called features. Okay, so well, while IDs are unique in our website, classes can be used for different elements. Okay, but so sometimes you might use the same class in different elements, but some other times you only have one element using this class. Okay, so if you're lucky, you could have a step number 3 having one target in the, if you want to target one class, you can use, how was it called, features. Okay, so republish. So now if we go to the second, you see this now, I mean the element that we're targeting is on top, so it's not visible right now on the screen. So you will see this arrow, so if you move to the top, then it will place, you see, next to our target. Okay, and the next one is going to be targeting this area. Okay, so this whole area. So okay, so imagine that here in this step you want to explain what these buttons are. Okay, for example, let's go to step number 3, and let's say here you have all the features available, for example. Okay, so here imagine that, I mean, if you want to do a step-by-step tutorial, I mean, I would recommend to first make a quick tour. Okay, and in some parts give the option to the user in case he wants to get more detail. Okay, so for example, we could do, let's create a step number 4 first, and then you will see what I'm talking about. Let's have this step 4, and let's target, for example, this. This can be section, well, this is section 3, or yeah, header major, for example. Let's target in step 4 major. You see how fast it is? I mean, it only takes 2 seconds to be available in your website. Step 3 and step 4. Well, it's not major. Okay, so this part is also major. So, well, you see now that we have 2 elements with the same class. We have this that has this major class, and then we have this that has this major class. Okay, so we cannot use classes here because, I mean, with classes we are not targeting. So if we want to target the second one, we should add this thing, nth child second. Next, and next. Oh no, so it's doesn't work with classes, sorry. Then we should have this section. Maybe we are going to need the third section, so let's use this section third, and then class major. Let's see if this works. Next. No, okay, so it's not this third, maybe it's the fourth. Okay, some maybe it's hidden, so this is the fourth one. Maybe I didn't see, but maybe in another div there's another section. So let's try again. Okay, now you see I'm targeting this one. So this is step number 4. Let's put this text here. This is step number 4. Okay, so what I was going to explain is that what if in step number 3 we want to give our users the option to get more details about this part. Okay, so here we could have some extra flow to talk about these details. Okay, so we're going to create a new flow, and I'm going to explain how to change from one flow to another one. So, well, we could have, of course, all these steps here in my main flow. We could have all these steps here and then move, because, well, you have the function next that will go always to the next one, but you also have the go to function, which will let you go from one step to another one, which is not the next one. Okay, but so we could have all of them here, but I like to have all my steps arranged by flows. Okay, so I'm going to create a new flow called flow features, for example, and let's call it like feature 1. This is feature 1, for example, and I'm going to target this. So here, this is the class features, and then article. Well, I think we only have articles here, so it's article 1, article 2, article 3, and article 4, I think. So let's call it article nth child 1. Okay, then I'm going to have a global button, the positive one. It's going to say next on click and function next. Okay, so I'm going to add this button positive. I'm going to clone this one, feature 2. This is going to be feature 2, and it's going to target the second child. Okay, let's have the third one. Feature 3 and child 3. Now, last one is going to be feature 4. Feature 4 and child 4. Okay, but in this case, if we'll have this button positive, this is going to be, it's going to have the next function. Okay, so this flow doesn't have a next step. Okay, so if we run this after the step 4 or the feature 4 step, then it will try to go to the next one, but since there's no a next one, then it will finish the flow. Okay, so our tutorial will be over. Okay, but well, we should have a different button. Okay, but I'm going to do this later. First, I need to link to these flow features. Okay, so from step 3, here, instead of having, well, I'm going to leave this button positive, but I'm going to add an extra button. Okay, it's not a global button for all my flow, so I'm going to add just one button for this step. I'm going to add a label like I want to know more, for example, and here I'm going to add, instead of the next function, I'm going to add the go to the step. I mean, I can go to a different step in a different flow. So I'm going to go to feature 1. Okay, so let's publish, 2 seconds, and refresh our website. So next, I'm targeting this one here, next. So you see now I have these 2 buttons. Next will go to the next step. Okay, but if I refresh, next, and now I have this option, I want to know more. So if I click here, I'm going to go to a different flow. So this flow will be over. Okay, now I have, this is feature 1, this is feature 2, this is feature 3, this is feature 4, and now if I click next, since there are no more steps in this sequence, in this flow, then the whole tutorial will be over. Okay, so I need to change this button. So let's remove the button positive, the default button positive, and let's add our own button for this step. Okay, so I'm going to use, I can use the same label, next, but in here, instead of next, I want to change this function to go to, and now I'm going to go to step 4. Republish and go back. Well, I can close this. Okay, next, next. Now I can have more detail. Feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, and now if I click here on feature 4, I'm going to go to the step 3, you see, or step 4, sorry. Okay. Well, basically this is how you can do step-by-steps in your whole website. Okay, now, but what if your website is made of different pages and you change from one page to another? Okay, so yeah, let's imagine that from step 4, if you click next, you want to go to a different site in your website. Okay, so let's do this. In step 4, our button, no, this is feature 4. In step 4, okay, instead of going to the next one using the button positive, imagine that we want to navigate in our website. No, sorry, not this one. Let's add one button that says next as well, but instead of going next, I want to change this function and go and use the browser function. So the URL could be generic.html, which is our website. I mean, it's our another page in our website. Okay. I'm not sure if I have to add the whole URL. Let's try. 2, 3, 4. If I click here, you see I'm browsing to the generic.html, and what happens here? Again, I'm in step 1. Okay, because I mean, since I put my library in index.html but also in generic.html, every time I load these two different pages, I'm going to have my tour started, right? So this is because this event. Okay, so the onReady event is called every time our website is loaded. I mean, every page in our website is loaded where our library is. Okay, so what if we want to load the main flow only on the main or on the home page of our website? Okay, so you can add some condition here. In this function, you can add the if condition. Sorry. So I only want to go to the step welcome in case our URL is index.html. Okay, so add this add, then type W for window, and then location, and then href. This is the whole URL. Okay, so if the URL is the whole thing, then go to welcome. Okay, but only go to welcome if our URL is this. Okay, republish, reload, and you will see. Next and next. So now it's not loading. Okay, so what if my tutorial, I want to have one tutorial that continues in a different step. Okay, so let's create a different flow. We can call it a generic flow, for example. And here I'm going to add my step 5, for example. Okay, and this is step 5. Generic. Okay, and let's make it closable. Okay, so let's go back to app. I'm going to clone this one, this function. So instead of going to welcome, I want to go to step 5, but only if the URL is generic.html. Republish, wait 2 seconds, and reload our website. Okay, now I have my welcome tutorial, step 2, step 3, and step 4 goes to generic. But now it's loading the step 5. Okay, you see how cool this is? Okay, well, then we could have more options. I mean, I've only done like simple steps without images and without anything, but you can add more things to your steps. Okay, for example, if you have this step, well, let's edit the welcome step. Okay, besides target, you could have some styling. Okay, you can have some style in case you want to make your step wider. For example, you can have a width of 800, for example. You can change this visor here. Well, you can add some height. Okay, so if you publish now, it's going to be much bigger. Okay, you could also have a background, like a gradient, for example. Okay, you could have a background with an image as well, or some transparent background, or yeah, anything. Or you could have, you could move your dialogue. Or it doesn't need to be always in the middle. I mean, you can put it on the end, for example, and also be aligned, vertical alignment on top. So this will take your dialogue to this corner, for example. Or you can add some offset, I mean, on the X, which is horizontal, like -100. So now it will move 100 pixels to the left, you see? So this way you can have full control of where you want your dialogue to be. Okay, you can also have some padding. I mean, by default, all your dialogues have some padding, you see, some margins, but you can remove this padding. I mean, the padding is the internal margin. Okay, so if you want to remove that padding, you have to specify that you want a padding of 0. Publish. Okay, now you see your text. I mean, this is cool for if you are going to have images and things like that. Okay, and where else? Well, you could also have, instead of having a text like this one, you could, instead of this, you could add some content. And for example, text, you could have the same text here, welcome to our website. But in case you add your text like this, let me remove the padding option. Okay, so with this text, the thing is that now you can have some styling to the text. I mean, you can make your text bigger using a font size of 48, for example. You see? Or you can add your own TTF files. For example, I think I have some, not here, but I think I have some fonts in my computer. Let me see. Yeah, I have this one. So if you want to add your own fonts, where is this? You only need to drop your file here, and this will go to your res fonts folder. Okay, and now you can just select font and the one I just created. Okay, so if you publish, okay, you see a different font. Okay, what else? Well, I don't want to talk about, I mean, the whole design. I mean, I talked about this last week. Today I just wanted to talk about the step-by-step thing, about the targeting, all those things, okay? But yes, let me tell you that you can also add images, for example. You can add videos, you can add embedded websites. Okay, well, I didn't control the styling of this. You can make it smaller. And did it publish? No. Okay. I mean, you have full control of what you want to show inside of this box. Okay. So, well, what else? Well, I think this should be almost all for today. I wanted to talk about these targets and this stuff, but before finishing this tutorial, I wanted to explain how to use these flows in your WordPress site, okay? Because, well, I explained how to use in a regular website, in an HTML website, but you can also use this on WordPress or on Blogger or any other website, okay? So I have this WordPress site that I'm building. Okay, so here, well, okay, it's already here, but let me tell you how I did it. Okay, so, well, if you go to WordPress and you go to your here, appearance, you will see that there's with this theme editor. I'm sorry, this is in Spanish, but if you go to your theme editor, you will see all the PHP files for your website. Okay, and normally you can find here one that is called headers. You might have like 2 or 3 headers depending on the plugins you have. So if you want to have it in all the pages of your WordPress site, you should put it in all of your header files. Okay, so if you click here, you will see that you have the HTML. So you just need to add these two. These are the same 2 lines that I added in my website. Okay, so these 2 lines here, and then, well, save it, then go to the footer, which is here, footer.php. And here you will find the closure of body. So here you need to add these 2 lines and then click on update. Okay, so after you do this, then you will have also in your WordPress site, you will have also these flows. Okay, so yeah, so well, basically this is all I wanted to talk today about the targeting, the step-by-step. Okay, so next week I will have another webinar and I will talk about more advanced things that you can do with these Coducer flows. Okay, because, well, today we only had like some steps. We navigated from one step to another, okay, but we can also add some logic. Okay, we can take decisions, we can add some, not programming, but some decision making. Okay, so we can keep values, so we can make the website remember if the user clicks on this button, so that next time he opens the website, we don't show the first step, we go to the step number 5, for example. Okay, so we can do some logic. So next week I'm going to talk about this logic, how we can like power up our flows and how we can create super tools on our website. Okay, and well, so that's all for today. I just want to end this webinar talking about or answering one question that a lot of people ask me is, okay, this is super cool, I think this is useful for my website, I definitely want to use this in my website, but how is this going to cost me, right? So maybe some of you were wondering that. So the thing is that you can use Coducer flows for free, okay, totally for free. Okay, the thing is that if you do it for free, you put you put this in your website, then we will add this powered by Coducer button here. Okay, so well, this happens in a lot of there are a lot of providers, like they provide like chat widgets or bot widgets, things like that that you put in your website. And even in the paid version, they put their brand in the widget. Okay, so we only put this brand in the free version. Okay, so if you want to use Coducer flows for free, okay, then you will have this small button here. Okay, but that's, I mean, this doesn't really bother at all. Okay, but if you want to get rid of this button, then you will need to have a paid subscription. Okay, but it's going to be super affordable. Okay, so let me explain how this works. Well, you can click here to see our plans. Well, it's in Euro, but in case you are in the US, this is for Europe, but in case if you are in the US or in any other country that doesn't use Euro coin, then just change the symbol and you will have the same prices for US dollar. Okay, $12, $24. Okay, so the thing is that our pricing, I mean, since Coducer is part of Dojo, and in Dojo we have different products, we wanted to make a super simple billing system. So basically we have our own currency, which is called Dojo coin, and our subscriptions are global to all our products. Okay, so if you have some subscription, I mean, you can pay more to get more Dojo coin in your account. So every month you will get Dojo coin in your account. Okay, so if you pay $12 a month, you will get 10 Dojo coin per month. If you pay $24 a month, you will get 30. So the more you pay, the cheaper the Dojo coin is, right? So then you will spend this Dojo coin in our products. So for example, if you want to use Coducer flows without this Coducer button, okay, then you will need 10 Dojo coin per month. Okay, so you only need the lower subscription. Okay, and this will give you this feature, the Coducer flow, with a limit of, I think it's going to be 100,000 page. I think it's going to be like, yeah, it can be loaded 100,000 times with that limit. Okay, in case you need a higher limit, then you will need probably 20 Dojo coin. Okay, but for most of the websites, that limit is super high and you are not going to reach that limit. Okay, that limit is only in case some big corporation decides to use Coducer flow. Okay, and then we start having a lot of traffic. Okay, so that's only for them, but most probably think is that you will only need 10 Dojo coin. Okay, so it's going to be super cheap. Okay, if you compare with other step-by-step builders, they are super more expensive than that. Okay, okay, so this is simple. Okay, that's it. So let me at last tell you about our super cool offer. Okay, so if you find this super cool and you know that you are going to use it, and you also like Coducer and you are going to develop some apps in Coducer, in the next months you will be able to develop also websites. and then we will have some other products. So if you find that you are going to use some Dojo products in the future, I'm going to give you this opportunity to get these 3 subscriptions, one of these 3, with a 50% discount. Okay, and this is how it works. So if you get your plan today, your 30 Dogecoin plan, or your 100 Dogecoin, or your 250 today, I mean 15th of April, then you will have 50% discount. Okay, if you do it tomorrow, then you will have 40% discount. If you do it the day after tomorrow, you will have 30% discount, and so on. Okay, so well, you cannot get these discounts here from the website. So if you want these discounts, you need to send us an email to support@dojo.email. Okay, so let me type it here. One moment. It's support@dojo.email. Okay, so let us know that you want this offer. 50% is a big opportunity. Okay, you are going to save a lot of money. So what if you get these 30 Dojo coins in your account, but you only need 10 right now? Okay, so the thing is that those extra 20s are going to stay in your wallet. Okay, so I mean, you will have these remaining Dojo coin for future use. Okay, so I mean, you are not going to just lose them. Okay, they will be useful in the future. Okay, so you should really take this opportunity. Okay, so send us an email and we will activate this offer for you. So, well, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about today. Okay, so well, I guess there are no questions. I didn't see any question in the chat today. So yeah, I think that's all for today. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that visited this webinar today, and also all the people who are watching this webinar in the future, okay, on YouTube. So I hope to see you next week. Next week we will talk about how to add logic to our flows. Okay, this is super useful and I hope you find it useful. Okay, so yeah, that's all for tonight. So see you in the next one. Bye.